lovely to be talking to you today. Welcome back to another episode of Between You and Me. If you read this title and clicked on it and you were like, let's see what Alex has to offer today, I hope you're not expecting too much. Or if you're the kind of person that just listens to all the episodes, then I love you for that also, by the way. But you're in for something a little different today, and definitely something that I have not planned whatsoever. Now, I've been having an odd day, kind of. I don't know. I think I'm just in my head a lot today, and I have been in my head for quite some time now. I'm in a weird phase where it feels like I'm not doing great mentally, and it's really exacerbating, if that's the right word, probably not, into my life. And just as of right now, I found myself sitting on my bed and going through TikToks and kind of floating around about my day ever since I got back from the gym at like 4 p.m. and it's now 8. And I haven't had like a moment of real thought and a moment of like actually just speaking my mind, like feeling like a normal human being. I don't know. Today has felt odd, but also so normal in a sense of, sorry, my doorbell's ringing, but in a sense of like, this is what I do all the time. And I always have days where I'm sitting on my phone for hours on end and just kind of floating around, figuring out what to do with myself. And honestly, it's annoying. And approximately 20 minutes ago, I decided, okay, I want to record a podcast episode. I want to talk. And to be completely blatantly honest with you guys, I don't even know if I'm going to use this episode. So if it does get out there, then that means I must have gotten to something good within this episode. But this came with no planning. This came with no thoughts behind it. The only thing I thought was, you know what, I'm going to talk about how I've been feeling lately. And I do think that this is a part of the podcast. Like, a lot of you guys might be used to me talking to you guys, giving you advice, answering your questions, having something helpful or, you know, some kind of advice to be giving to you guys. But in reality, sometimes I just need to talk and sometimes I just need to get things off my chest and I need to kind of figure out what's going on in my own head. And I think this could help. And I've done this before. I've had ranting episodes and this is definitely going to be one of those. There's a lot going on in my house right now. My parents are out and about, going in and out of the house, and just, I think they're bringing a piano into my house. I don't know what's going on. So there's a lot of chaos, but I'm shut myself in my room, and I just want to have this 30-40 minutes or so to just kind of talk about whatever the hell I want to talk about, actually, okay? So let me let you guys in. Like I said 20 minutes ago, I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna talk. I need to talk today. I have spent, I don't think, any time actually having conversation in this day, which I just realized right now, which is interesting, because an average day in my life consists of me waking up and everybody's, you know, gone about their day, gone to work, gone to school. So I go about my morning, I do my thing, I'm by myself. And then I go about my work, and that also consists of me being by myself and editing or creating content or whatever it might be, making a podcast episode. And in that sense, I'm still by myself. I'm still talking either in my head or out loud like this on a podcast. And then, you know, the day progresses. I'll go to the gym. That's my normal routine. I don't really talk to anyone there either. The off chance I see somebody I know, or maybe I'm working out with someone, then yeah, I'll have some conversation. But for the most part, I work out and not a single word is said apart from, hey, how many sets do you have left? And that doesn't count as a conversation. And then I come home, and then about that time, I'll see like members of my family coming home. And then even at that point, like everyone still has things that they have to do throughout their day. Like I saw my parents, didn't really talk, right? Didn't really have conversation, kind of just doing my thing throughout the whole entire day. And then that's where I catch myself in these floating moments where, you know, we've gotten to the end of the day, right? It's like 7, 8 p.m. And right now my responsibilities are kind of I either did them or I didn't. And there's no use of kind of sitting around dwelling about if I got whatever I needed to get done. It's time to kind of figure out what's next for my night. Have a good dinner, take a shower, relax, watch a show, whatever it might be. But the thought of that to me is so annoying, and I don't know why. I don't know why I have this sense of like basic mundane routine being so annoying right now in my life. I feel like maybe I'm lonely, and that's not to say that I don't have great people in my life, because I do, but it's almost as if I don't have a time period during the day where I'm super crazy busy, when I get to this time where I'm floating, like the floating hours of like you don't really know what you're doing and you don't really have a set plan anymore, I'll feel so annoyed or bored or like extremely in my head, in my thoughts, and I don't actually get a chance to relax because I'm worried about how my day even went. Like I'm like disappointed about how my day went. Does that make sense? Do you guys like have any kind of understanding of what I'm talking about? I feel like I'm a special case in a weird way, because a lot of people probably go to work and talk to people, or work from home and hop on meetings and talk to people, or go to school and talk to people, but I don't. So in this way, I feel like I end up talking to myself a lot more, and I don't know if that's like normal or not. Probably, right? Like if you're by yourself, you talk to yourself in your head. I hope I'm not the only one there. But because of that, it's almost as if I have so much more time by myself in my thoughts to overthink the way that like my life has been going, or different things in my life. I just have free time to worry. And I'm sure if you guys have been a long-term listener, like I have anxiety. Okay, let's just put it out there if you guys didn't know. I have had anxiety since I was a child, and I remember it very, very clearly. And it has progressed and stayed with me, let's say, throughout my life. Harder points, easier points, a roller coaster of anxiety throughout the lifetimes. But it feels like right now it is a decently high amount of anxiety, and maybe that is why I feel really restless and really annoyed during the time frames where I'm not keeping myself busy and I don't have anything to occupy my mind, because I just know that maybe I'll be unhappy. Maybe my thoughts will kind of make me feel unhappy, or that I just like don't really enjoy being in my own company. I don't know if that's what it is, because I question that thought a lot in a way of like, do I actually enjoy being by myself? Do I enjoy spending time with myself? And the answer is weird, because there are a lot of times that I do, and there's a lot of times that I don't. So I don't know if I'm supposed to always enjoy the time that I spend with myself, or if sometimes it's just annoying. Because yesterday, for example, was Mother's Day, and all of these episodes, by the way, are at least a couple weeks in advance pre-recorded, because that's just the way I'm planning this season. So I spent the whole day out of the house. Woke up in the morning, went to run errands, went to pick my mom up some stuff, bought some stuff for my grandma, came home, brought my mom and sisters out for some lunch, breakfast, brunch kind of vibe, and then we went to go see my grandma, and then we spent some time with her, and then we came home, and then my dad brought us all out for dinner. So I was out more of the time than I was at home. So by the time I got home after dinner and it was late, it was like I was so excited to just take a shower, do my skincare, be by myself. Like I didn't even want to like be on my phone. I just wanted to hop in bed, get comfy, maybe watch something on my laptop and just zone out and just be calm with myself, right? But then there's days like today where the thought of going through my nightly routine, or the thought of like what the rest of the day has for me, because it's only 8 p.m. Like there's still time. I don't sleep at 10, right? Like I go to bed at like 1 a.m. So like I have some time to kill is what I'm saying. And I don't really know what I'm going to do with the rest of my night. And I'm thinking about ways to occupy myself already. Like I'm like, okay, should I go do my nails tonight? Because I know that takes like 2-3 hours and I know that's going to take a minute. And I also had plans with my friends that I was planning on doing earlier. That didn't happen. So it was like a disappointment, right? Like I was going to get out of the house. I was going to go be social. I was going to go do something with my friend. And then she said that she couldn't. So I was sitting there and I was like, oh, boo. Now I have to spend time with myself. And I was disappointed and I don't want to. And that's probably part of the reason why I decided to record this episode, because I wanted something to occupy my time. But at the same time, this is something that I was thinking about. I'm like, what is up with me today? Like my day felt like it started off great. It felt like I was doing what I needed to do. I got my work done. I went to the gym. Actually, my gym session sucked, but that's besides the point. And then all of a sudden I come home and then I'm thinking, I'm like, like I feel kind of uneasy. I have like weird feelings inside of me. Like I don't feel like I did as much today. I don't feel like I felt super productive today. I don't know. Like something feels off about the way that I feel today. And it's super interesting because it's just like, okay, well, I had a great morning. I started my day off right. I did what I had to do. I accomplished things that I wanted to accomplish today. But what is it? Like, oh my God, I don't even know. So many thoughts just came into my head in that moment, and I need to take a sip of water also because my stomach is grumbling so hard. I didn't eat dinner yet. I had a late lunch. Clearly it wasn't enough. I really hope you can't hear my stomach grumbling through the mic. That would be embarrassing. I'm really wondering if I'm alone in these thoughts and I'm alone in this feeling, but also I doubt it because I know humans are somewhat alike, right? So I think what's going on here is I'm craving change and I can feel it. And I feel like I've been craving change for a long time. And it's interesting because I crave change, but I'm also scared of it in a lot of ways. So maybe that's why my life hasn't changed much, you know? And what I mean by that is like I am very afraid of things that I'm comfortable with and things that I'm used to changing. And I feel like I like to pick and choose the things that I want to stay and that I want to change. And sometimes that's just not how it works. Sometimes change actually comes and it changes everything. And there's nothing that you're used to anymore. And then certain aspects of your life change and everything else remains the same. But because of that one big thing that changed, everything feels different, right? And I've experienced a lot of change in my life. So it's interesting that I'm craving it, but I know exactly what kind of change I'm craving, and it's a change of routine. I feel like I need a change of pace. I feel like I want my lifestyle to look different, and I've made a lot of improvements in my life, so I don't want to like sit down and like judge myself for not having changed enough. But I also feel like I could do more, and almost like I am in this phase of my life right now, being in my early 20s, and I want to do more. I want to experience more, and I want to travel. I want to kind of go through the steps of adulthood that I feel like I haven't reached yet. And that's a very vulnerable thing for me to talk about. And I don't even like talking or thinking about it because I honestly feel like it pushes me into an existential crisis sometimes. But like feeling like you're really pursuing and succeeding in a career, and then following the steps that come after it, like leaving home and getting your own place or moving out, you know, whatever it is, and getting to experience life on your own. And even though I have an extreme amount of independence in my life right now, it's not the same. But obviously, in order to have that step in life, you need to be financially ready, emotionally ready, blah, blah, blah. There's so many aspects to it, and I'm just not there yet. And I question and I think about like, when am I going to be there? That's the kind of change that I feel like I'm craving right now. And then like every other idea of change in my mind that is apart from that sounds awful, sounds scary, sounds terrible, sounds really frightening. Like I was just having a conversation with Mariella yesterday, who's my little sister, who's 17, and she is graduating high school this year. And she's talking to me about her university applications, where she wants to go, and she's about to go through a big change, right? I'm sure we all remember, if we have graduated already, how weird that time frame of your life is when you leave high school and how used to high school and the dynamic and whatever that lifestyle was like for you, and then moving into a new phase where you're a big girl and you start taking on bigger tasks, bigger workloads, and managing it with everything else in your life, and then having the freedom to actually manage it in the way that you want to. And that's a big step. And then she was talking about how she was going through options of schooling, right? And where she wanted to go. A couple of the options she's considering are ones where she would have to leave home. Okay, and I have an older sister who has moved out already, so it's just me and Mariella. And the thought of her leaving home next year and me staying home is probably one of the most, I don't even know what the right word would be, like terrifying? I don't know, like horrible, just like really upsetting thoughts in my mind, because for two reasons, right? Obviously, one, Mariella is probably one of the closest people I have in my life. She's my sister, for one, and because we have that type of relationship where we are also friends, best friends, and we do things together, and we hang out, and we talk, and we blah, blah, blah. So her leaving would just be sad. And two, the thought of my younger sister, which our age gap is 6 years, of her leaving the house. And that's not to say she might not come back, because a lot of people go to university and come back, whatever. But her leaving the house, moving away, and I'm still living at home at my big, juicy, fat age, like that would once again trigger my existential crisis, okay? That would just make me feel terrible for what point of life I'm at this, like, I don't know. I feel like I sound so dramatic because I know so many people, like firsthand, that are living comfortably with their parents, saving up money, like doing it the smart way. And they're completely fine. It's not a big deal in your late 20s, whatever, to be living with your family. Or even, I don't know, in your 30s. I don't even know. But for some reason, for me, it feels like it's a sign that I'm behind. Seeing that come to fruition, seeing my sister potentially leave, seeing me be the last one out of the sisters to be still living at home, plus just the state of my lifestyle being what it is, and that I work from home, and that I'm my own boss, and that I have to motivate my own self. It sounds impossible, and it sounds terrifying, and it sounds scary. And I already have this almost resentment towards my lifestyle right now, that I don't want to keep doing it when I don't have my best friend at home. You know, she's part of the reason that I like enjoy still living at home. Obviously, I love my parents as well, but they probably want me to, in a couple years, pack up and go like the rest of them. So like the thought of that change in specific was really daunting, and it really felt not good to think about, and not good to like judge myself for where I am in this point in my life. And I know everybody's journey is extremely different, and I don't think I'm comparing myself to anyone other than where I thought I would be. And maybe actually that comes from comparison from outside sources, to be honest with you, but I feel like I'm behind. And I guess it doesn't help that the way that I live my life on a day-to-day doesn't feel like I'm working towards anything larger, right? Like, if anything, it feels like, at least in my mind, like oh my God, my stomach is grumbling so much. It's honestly like kind of scary. What I was saying is, at least in my mind, it almost feels like I am doing less than I should. Like I'm doing way less than I should. But then it's also like I feel super busy sometimes. I don't know. I don't want to feel overwhelmed and stressed, and I don't want to feel like I'm doing too much. Like I could have 7 jobs right now if I really wanted to, but like I want to obviously keep balance in my life. But then there's also the fact, like, am I not doing enough? Should I be doing more? Do I have the ability to be doing more and I'm not? That's what it feels like right now. And because of that, it feels like I'm kind of just floating around doing whatever. And I'm spending a lot of time thinking. I have all this free time because right now, in the past couple of weeks, my job has not been very demanding at all, because I'm trying to find, honestly, to be completely blatant with you guys, I'm trying to find out what the hell I'm doing on social media. Like, I'm trying to navigate what's the next step and where I should be putting my energy into, because I don't know about you guys, but I read a comment. One of Mariella's TikToks went viral-ish. And somebody commented and was like, oh my God, you are a YouTuber sister that I used to watch. And I read it and I was just like, ugh. But as a joke, obviously I commented and I was just like, used to, I'm still here, babe, because I still make YouTube content. And then she commented back, she's like, OMG, I know I deleted YouTube. And I thought about that and I was like, damn, people don't fuck with YouTube the way they used to. And that was my number one. YouTube was my number one. And I'm not saying it was as in like I'm never doing it again, but like it really was. And like now I'm pushing Instagram content. I have a podcast. I'm doing freaking everything, honestly. And YouTube is getting the least amount of attention from anyone and everyone. And it sucks because it's like, that's what I love the most. So because YouTube is like not doing as great, I'm not producing as much content on YouTube, and YouTube takes the most time out of my day. When I used to post once a week, I was busy every single day of the week. Now I'm not posting once a week. I'm not busy every single day of the week. It's a lot of a shorter demand and a lot of less work to be making reels, shorts, TikToks. It's fucking easy. I'm not gonna lie. Compared to YouTube, when you've done YouTube and then you start doing short form content, like it's literally crazy easy. So I am like, it's such a weird like spiral in my mind where I'm like, I have more time. YouTube's not doing as good. That was my main source of income. Let me say that. And it's just like, God, my lifestyle's getting tiring. And I don't know if it comes with the seasons. I really don't know, because I swear to God, a year ago in the summer, when the summer started, I had a major burnout moment. And I'm pretty sure that was the last time I posted posted a rant episode for my podcast as well. Was like during that time frame where I was having major burnout. And I'm not saying that I'm having burnout right now. I don't think I'm even fucking working enough to have burnout. But during this season, it almost feels like, okay, hold up. Like, I want to make sure I have enough time to, enjoy the nice weather that's coming around, spend time with my friends, balance my life out. And when I'm working 24/7, especially when I'm doing this type of work, which is me sitting in my house, staring out of the window and seeing the beautiful weather, or sitting in a cafe, staring out the window, seeing the beautiful weather, it's like, what am I doing? I'm missing out on experiencing life for this, which, a lot of people do. Unfortunately, a lot of jobs require you to do that. So I don't know, like I'm in a weird state, a weird thought process on the way that I'm thinking about everything. I have this craving that I want to do something different, and I want to like be able to lead a different type of lifestyle. And what I mean by that is like, I want to get up and leave the house every day at a certain time. Like I'm craving that kind of structure that people have when they work a 9 to 5, but I don't want to work a 9 to 5. You know what I mean? Like I want to have projects and bigger things to do and bigger tasks to work on. Like I have the ability to do all of that, but I'm making reels at home. And it sounds kind of depressing, but that's actually what I'm doing. So that's not to say I don't do 500 other things, which I do, but it's not extremely demanding. They're not big projects I'm working on, or, I mean, they're relatively decently sized, but like, I feel like I could do more. And with that lifestyle and that different kind of like working environment, I don't know, like that's kind of where my mind's at. And I want to branch out and learn different things. Everything that I do and everything that I've done on social media, I have taught myself. Every single thing. I've looked it up. I've tinkered with an editing thing. I've done a bunch of research. I figured out how to set up whole podcast equipment, record, edit, YouTube, all of that. Editing, everything on YouTube. I started on Windows Movie Maker. Actually, scratch that. I started on iMovie on my iPad in 2012. Going from Windows, back to Mac, iMovie. Now I do Final Cut Pro, all the things. I taught myself everything. all the creative elements of everything that I do, I've done myself. So like, apart from the podcast graphic, by the way, I don't want to say that I did that. I definitely didn't do that. I hired someone and she did a great, amazing job. But I basically do everything myself and taught myself everything, and I want to learn. I kind of miss being a student, I'm not going to lie, only because of the structure and the way that I was able to learn things, and basically the structure, to be quite honest with you. And the thought of like having that push from an outside source to do something every day is almost comforting in a sense, because it's like, you got to do this. You don't have a choice if you're tired today. You don't have a choice if you don't feel like it today. You don't get the choice to sit on your bed and go scroll through TikToks. You don't. You have to get up. You have to make it for that class. You have to get up. You have to make it for that exam. Or you got to make it to clock in for your job. Like, I literally just remembered I had a dream last night. I worked at a restaurant, and I used to work at a restaurant. So even things like that, like my job doesn't require me to clock in nor to clock out. But babe, I clock out every day. Every day. I decide I just don't want to do it anymore, and I clock out. So like, God. And on top of all of that, this is just my existential thinking coming out to you right now, by the way. This is my long-term, almost suppressed thoughts that are in the back of my mind, but that come and tinker into my thoughts almost every other day. But on top of that, my very conscious thoughts are anxiety over the past 2 to 3 weeks. And I told you guys that I have a lot of anxiety, and I have had a lot more recently, which is tragic. I'm not a fan of it. And it's required me to be extremely hard on myself recently. Like, so hard on myself. And this is completely unrelated to even the stuff that I was talking about before, where I'm already hard on myself, mind you. This is like me questioning how good of a friend, a partner, a member of society I am. I feel insecure about not even how I look, but what I have to offer, how valuable I am to other people. I feel like I almost don't even trust myself sometimes, to that extent of like, am I making good decisions for myself? Am I a good person? Am I treating other people right? And you know what? Maybe that's why I'm not enjoying spending time with myself recently. Just because I literally don't even like myself right now. God. I think we came to some kind of epiphany here, to be honest with you. And I'm not saying I don't love myself or I don't appreciate myself, because I do. Like, it's not like I'm 24/7 hating on myself. It's just that my anxiety and the things that I'm telling myself on a constant, everyday cycle is not positive enough. If anything, it's not even positive to begin with. Like, I really do spend my days wishing I was different, and wishing I did things differently, and wishing I didn't have as much anxiety, and wishing that I didn't feel the certain ways that I felt, rather than accepting how life is right now and how I am right now. Because when you're going through a hard time and when you're having a lot of anxiety, it doesn't just disappear, right? Like, it has to be worked through. It has to be acknowledged. It has to be accepted. And then you can slowly but surely let it go and do different things in your life to help take better care of yourself. And I've definitely been trying a lot of things recently, because when I catch myself in super anxious moments that kind of linger for a long time, that's when I know that it has more to do with me than anything else. And it might have to do with me having to reevaluate how I've been doing things over the past couple of months, or 6 months, a year, whatever it might be. Because when anxiety starts to creep back into your life and you feel it very presently on a day-to-day basis, it's something that's built up over a long time, and it's something that you've probably started to allow your brain to be really comfortable with. And what I mean by that is, like, you've started to like allow your literal brain waves, like the neurons and the pathways, to be kind of like created in a certain way to think that the anxiety is comfortable or your mindset's comfortable or the way that you're thinking is comfortable, right? Like you have programmed, is the word. You've programmed your brain to think in these negative ways, and you've programmed yourself to think these negative things about you or about other people. And it's going to take some time to kind of crawl your way out of that hole. And I feel like I've been digging myself a hole for a little bit and I didn't even realize. It probably comes from a lot of these existential thoughts and the way that I feel like I'm not doing enough and that I'm not feeling as great about myself in terms of my success or in terms of my career or in terms of like where I am in this point in my life. And when you tell yourself these things and you tell yourself, okay, I wish I was here. I'd be happy if I was, in this point in my life right now, or if I had moved out, or if I had this amount of money in my bank account. And you're basically telling yourself you're not happy. And I think that's what I've been doing. I've been telling myself I'm not happy with where you're at. You could be doing more. You should be doing more. And I'm disappointed in you. And it's kind of sad, honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, because I really have been doing that. I haven't been giving myself enough acceptance, and I haven't been cutting myself enough slack for the fact that, I haven't been doing that good mentally. So I can only give myself just expectations based on how I've been feeling. I can't expect myself to go above and beyond in my career and my successes if I can't go above and beyond for my own self right now. But the thing is, I feel like I even when I can't give to myself, I give to other people. And maybe that's where I'm going wrong. I give so much attention and love to my friends and to my relationship and to my family. And sometimes I'm kind of left a little dull, like a dull pencil that needs some sharpening. And I don't know why I do that, to be honest. I really don't know why I do that, because I should really find a way to balance that and find a way to be able to know when, like, okay, yeah, I can give this. My cup is full. I can give a little bit to my friends right now if they're in need and they need my help or whatever it is. But even when my cup's empty, I'll give. But you know what? I feel like even when I do that, I get some in return. So maybe that's why. I feel like when I'm with my friends, like, I will just recharge no matter how low I'm feeling. Even if it's like 2%, I'll still recharge that 2% when I was at 0. Oh, when I was at -10, because I'm pouring a little out for them, But yeah, it's all very interesting to think about, isn't it? I've definitely come to a lot of conclusions about the way that I've been thinking about myself lately. And honestly, to be completely and blatantly so honest with you guys, I don't know what I'm going to do about it. I don't know what's the right course and steps to take to kind of get myself on a better platform of like a relationship with myself. Because it felt like a year ago or even 6 months ago, the relationship with myself was a lot stronger. And I don't know if that's something that ebbs and flows, or if I am kind of not really leading myself in a good direction when it comes to like my choices on what I'm doing. And that leads me to like kind of lose this relationship with myself. But it's happened before and I've done, a good job of regaining that sense of self. So I'm hoping I can do it again. But at the same time, it was a lot worse last time. It's not that bad right now, honestly. Everything that I'm talking about when I'm saying these things, how I've been feeling lately, all of these emotions and thoughts that are going through my mind, like, I'm not at my lowest. And I just want to tell you guys that. Like, I've been at my lowest before and this is not it, thankfully. I'm definitely handling a lot of thoughts right now and a lot of emotions that are centered and based around myself that I'm trying to navigate and trying to figure out like what's my best course, or like honestly maybe even just letting go of some of these thoughts and letting go of these like expectations that I have for myself, because although I do expect the best out of myself, I can't expect it 24/7. And also I do believe that I have the ability to do better things and to, succeed and have a good career and whatnot. But it's just a matter of like my day-to-day life and how I choose to go about it in order to like step by step get to that success. And also how I choose to kind of take care of myself and just radically, I think you heard that stomach gurgle, and just radically accept the way that I feel right now. And even when I don't feel like hanging out with myself, like just fucking hanging out with myself. I don't know. Like just simply be okay with it and not be so bothered, not have to consume my mind with TikTok 24/7 so I'm not like thinking to myself or like alone. I don't know. I'm going to start doing gratitude journals. I've actually started, but like I'm going to start doing it more often because I think that that's something that can really help me right now is like sitting and actually thinking like, holy shit, I actually have great things in my life. I need to state them out and I need to write them down every morning and actually remind myself how lucky I am because I know how lucky I am. I do, trust me. Like I'm talking so down about my life and like who I am and the person that I am, but I know how lucky I am. I have extreme blessings that I know not everybody has in this world. So like I need to be able to shift to a positive mindset and realize that I have good cards. I've been given a good deck of cards and it's just about how I choose to use them right now. So, yeah. I'm going to close it off now. I don't even know what else I could say at this point, but this definitely felt like a therapy session and it was free. So, I'm pretty glad. And I was just talking to myself the whole entire time. So maybe I am therapist myself. Therapist to my own self, at least. I don't know if I feel better though, so but we'll figure it out. That's another day. I'm actually going to relax after this because it's peaking 8:30 and I still have to eat dinner. So I'm going to go hang out with my parents and eat some dinner and just float around for the rest of the evening. But thank you guys for listening to this. If you actually have any advice for me or if you relate in any way and you want to talk about it or like let me know how like you would handle something like this, I don't know. You can DM me at Between You and Me podcast on Instagram and I'll go through and read some of those. But yeah, this has been an interesting episode. Although I didn't give you guys any advice, I hope you did enjoy this. And I hope you have a great rest of your day, night, evening, whatever it is. And be safe. I love you guys. Have a great night or day or whatever. Okay, bye.